So a lot of people ask me which NFTs they should be buying into, and I really don't want you guys to FOMO into something and buy something just because of the hype, because a lot of times you might lose money doing that. So in this video, I'm gonna show you 3 projects that I'm personally looking into, and I believe you should keep these on your radar to see if there's something that interests you. All right, so the first project that we're gonna be talking about is going to be Rumblecong. It might be out of the budget for a lot of people, right? Right now it's 2.99 ETH. That's gonna be around 12K at the time of this recording. Why this is actually kind of unique is because it is a basketball NFT. What does that mean? These gorillas are gonna be used in the metaverse game where they will compete with each other playing basketball. I'm not sure if it's gonna be 3-on-3, 5-on-5. I think the game mechanics are still being worked out. And from my understanding, this company has raised a lot of money to build out an actual legit basketball game. If you watch my channel a lot, you realize that I always talk about niches, right? Because the riches are in the niches. There really isn't any other NFT out there talking about or creating NFTs on basketball specifically, and basketball is one of the most popular sports in the world, right? If you go on their website, it kind of gives you more information on the game itself. Each gorilla has like its own stats of like how good they are as a player. And if you look at who's backing it, which is always important, you may or may not know a lot of these logos, but the one that really stands out to me is CAA Sports, which is a talent agency, so they can connect this project with a lot of celebrities, and Mocha Brands, which is one of the largest like crypto funds in the world at the moment, I believe. So overall, if you look at this project, number 1, the art is pretty good. Number 2, they're hitting that basketball niche, which pretty much no other NFT is doing at this level. They have a lot of top tier investors, and also they have a lot of connections to celebrities. And so if you look on Twitter, you'll find that, you know, Steph Curry owns a couple Rumblekongs, and he also reps the Rumblecong logo during his interviews, post-game or pre-game. And you also have other basketball players repping this logo. Not only is this a well-funded startup essentially, but you also have connections into getting celebrities like all-star Steph Curry wearing this brand. So put all that stuff together, I'm not surprised that, you know, each one of these Rumblekongs is worth 3 ETH at the moment. If you believe in the project and you believe in the long term, sure, maybe that's a good entry price. But for other people, maybe you want to wait until it drops lower and, you know, get a better deal on that. What I also like to do when it comes to evaluating NFT projects is just going on their Twitter to see like what's been going on recently. Like I said before, raised 4.5 million in seed funding from top tier investors. That's not even including the millions that they raised when they sold the NFT, right? So they have close to $10 million in funding to do this project, which is a lot of money and they can build for years to come. They're doing clothes for the metaverse. They also bought some land in the sandbox, which is obviously like a marketing play, which a lot of brands are doing these days. And they also have a virtual shoe collaboration with Steph Curry. So it's not just like Steph Curry is promoting them, but they're actually doing real collaborations, creating real assets that you can actually buy. Right now, I'm gonna be using NFTpricerfloor.com for the price, just to make it easy for you guys. So in November 28, which is like literally a month ago, price was like 1.3. No big announcements going on yet. And then suddenly in December, basically with all these announcements, with the fundraising, who's backing it, Steph Curry wearing it, and the shoe collaboration, obviously the price is gonna pump to 3 Ethereum. If you're looking to buy this project, the thing you have to be careful of is that the price just pumped because of all this hype news, and a lot of people buy it because of that news, right? So it's possible the price might dump because people are trading based on the narrative, and then might drop to something like 1.5 or 2, right? Nobody really knows. But if you believe in the project long-term and the game is actually successful, my guess is that the value of this NFT will be higher than 3. But just again, remember that if you're trading based on hype, just know that the price pumps and the price dumps all the time. So you have to be extremely careful on when you enter and when you exit. So always have a strategy and do your own research. All right, so the next project that we're gonna be looking at is not as mainstream as Rumblekongs, and it's gonna be EtherOrcs. Now, EtherOrcs actually really interesting is because they advertise themselves as the first 100% on-chain NFT game. Now, to explain what that means, essentially, a lot of times the game and the art and everything is put onto a server. So when you buy an NFT, that NFT itself doesn't have the art in the NFT, it just connects to a server, and then the server feeds that data to an NFT. Now, on-chain means that everything that happens within this NFT is literally on the Ethereum blockchain that everybody can see. Why that is so unique is because if you have an NFT and let's say 30 years in the future, what happens if that server that is hosting your NFT goes down? Then that means there's no images that show up on your NFT. But when everything is on-chain, that means their data never dies unless Ethereum dies itself. That's why the NFT is a lot more durable, and it's a lot more difficult because you could only put so much information on the Ethereum blockchain NFT. It's kind of like if somebody were to draw like this masterpiece using an Excel sheet. It's just like you put these constraints on yourself, but it creates something beautiful in a sense. That's exactly what EtherOrcs is doing, right? So the game itself, it's not innovative relative to the entire game market, but it's innovative that it's the first 100% NFT on-chain game, and there's gonna be cultural significance in that, let's say like 5 years moving forward in the future, right? Because being known as the first is always valuable. So EtherOrcs itself, when we look at it, it's an on-chain element. Essentially what you do is you buy these NFTs and then you go out and you stake them, meaning you like lock them up, and then they're gonna go out and like train and fight and like earn tokens and things like that. Literally like an RPG game where you level up your orc, you go on raids and stuff like that, and then you don't really see them fighting or anything. It's just like you send them out and then something happens, you get the data back, and then you level up. And so as you level up, you get different armor, you get stronger, and then you go out and you earn more tokens. And there's also gonna be like shamans. I believe these are called shamans. They're like a companion to the orc. And so, you know, it's like this whole ecosystem. So let me tell you why I feel this project is quite interesting. The first is that when the team put this out, it was actually a 100% free mint, meaning that if you just minted it, you didn't have to pay the creators any money. Not only that, but when people buy and sell the NFT, there are no royalties for this, meaning that the team did the opposite of a cash grab. They put out a project, they said, hey, we want to earn your trust. We're not gonna take any of your money. If you enjoy the game and you play it, great. If not, totally cool. And just from pure honesty of like actually want to build a real game, they developed a niche audience. I think there's about 1,000 to 1,500 people actually like who own an NFT in EtherOrc. They're really carving out their audience and they're really building out a real game without asking for any money in return in the beginning. And obviously they're making changes so that they can make money and like actually hire more people to develop this game. They really earned my respect in that they did it for free in the beginning to prove that they're not a cash grab, to prove that they can be one of the best doing this on-chain stuff. And from, you know, my initial impression of like how people receive it, people are really into this game. The art is really good, and so they did a really good job. I support them. And so if you're interested in EtherOrcs, check it out on their website, check it out on OpenSea. Now, if you go on OpenSea, you know, the price is 0.83 or 82 for an EtherOrc, which is a lot lower than what it was like a couple months ago. I remember when these were like 2, 3, 4 ETH just for one of these. This team is already proven to create a good product. They didn't take any money up front, and now they're building for the long term and they're trying to find ways to monetize. And so if you want to support them, then it might be a good entry point for you to check it out. Now, the final project that we're going to be talking about is going to be Pixelmon. And obviously this is going to be a play on Pokemon, but these are made of pixels. There's not a lot of information on the website itself, so you have to go on their Twitter page to like see what's going on. They're relatively new in terms of like promoting their stuff on Twitter. So far, from my impression, the art is actually pretty cool. They're taking a lot of inspiration from Pokemon, obviously, where there's going to be monsters and you can level them up or evolve them twice, just like, you know, you have like Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard. They're going to have a similar mechanic to that. Now, there's not a whole lot of information about like exactly what the game is going to be, how it's going to turn out, whether you can put this in the sandbox or not. They do have a roadmap. You know, to be honest, a roadmap like this, it's just a bunch of text, right? So it's just promises. So there's no guarantee that they're going to do any of this, and a lot of it is really subject to change. So the art is pretty cool. I like the concept. They probably have a big vision. So if you're looking for a project that hasn't minted yet and maybe you want to get on their whitelist and things like that, make sure to just check out their Twitter. Probably try to find a way to join their Discord. I think it's closed right now. They're doing that, you know, closed Discord strategy and, you know, trying to build up hype that way. I can see people that who get in the mint can probably like sell it for a profit instantly. Just check it out if that is something that interests you, if you're looking for new projects. And so with that said, that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.